The Pandya dynasty, also known as the Pandayas of Madurai, was a dynasty of South India, one of the three famous Tamil lineages, the other two being the Chola and the Chera. The dynasty passed through two periods of imperial dominance, the 6th to 10th centuries CE, and under the later Pandyas. The Pandyas ruled extensive territories, at times including the large portions of present-day South India and northern Sri Lanka through collateral branches subject to Madurai. The rulers of the three Tamil dynasties were referred to as the three crowned rulers of the Tamil country. The age and the antiquity of the Pandya dynasty are difficult to establish. The early Pandya chieftains ruled their country from time immemorial, which included the inland city of Madurai and the southern port of Korkai. The Pandayas are celebrated in the earliest available Tamil poetry. Graeco-Roman accounts, the edicts of Maurya Emperor Asoka, coins with legends in Tamil-Brahmi script, and Tamil-Brahmi inscriptions suggest the continuity of the Pandya dynasty from the 3rd century BCE to the early centuries CE. The early historic Pandyas faded into obscurity upon the rise of the Kalabhra dynasty in South India. From the 6th century to the 9th century CE, the Chalukyas of Badami or Rashtrakutas of the Deccan, the Pallavas of Kunchi, and Pandayas of Madurai dominated the politics of South India. The Pandyas at one time or another ruled or invaded the fertile estuary of Kaveri, the ancient Chera country in Benadu, the Pallava country in Sri Lanka. The Pandyas went into decline with the rise of the Cholas of Tanjore in the 9th century and were in constant conflict with them. The Pandyas allied themselves with the Sinhalese and the Cheras in harassing the Chola Empire until it found an opportunity for reviving its fortunes during the late 13th century. The Pandyas entered their golden age under Maravarman I and Jadavarman Sundara Pandya I. Some early efforts by Maravarman I to expand into the ancient Chola country were effectively checked by the Hoysalas. Jadavarman I successfully expanded the empire into the Telugu country, South Kerala and conquered northern Sri Lanka. The city of Kunchi became a secondary capital of the Pandyas. The Hoysalas, in general, were confined to Mysore Plateau and even King Samsvara was killed in a battle with Pandyas. Maravarman Kulaskara I defeated an alliance of the Hoysalas and the Cholas and invaded Sri Lanka. The venerable tooth relic of the Buddha was carried away by the Pandyas. During this period the rule of the empire was shared among several royals, one of them enjoying primacy over the rest. An internal crisis in the Pandya Empire coincided with the Khalji invasion of South India in 1310–11. The ensuing political crisis saw more sultanate raids and plunder, the loss of South Kerala, and North Sri Lanka and the establishment of the Madurai Sultanate. In the mid-16th century, the Vijayanagara governors of Madurai declared independence and established the Madurai Nayak dynasty. The Pandyas of Usichangi, in the Tungabhadra Valley were related to the Pandayas of Madurai. According to tradition, the legendary Sangams were held in Madurai under the patronage of the Pandyas, and some of the Pandya rulers claimed to be poets themselves. The Pandya country was home to a number of renowned temples including Meenakshi Temple in Madurai. After the revival of the Pandya power by Kedungan, the Shaivite Nayanars and the Vaishnavite Alvars rose to prominence. It is known that the Pandya rulers followed Jainism for a short period of time in history. Etymology and origin legends. The word Pandya is thought to be derived from the ancient Tamil word Pandu meaning old. The theory suggests that in early historic Tamil lexicon the word Pandya means old country in contrast with Chola meaning new country, Chera meaning hill country and Pallava meaning branch in Sanskrit. The etymology of Pandya is still a matter of considerable speculation among scholars. Apart from the derivations mentioned, a number of other theories do appear in historical studies. According to the ancient Tamil legends, the three brothers Cheran, Kolan and Pandyan ruled in common at the southern city of Korkai. While Pandya remained at home, his two brothers Cheran and Kolan after a separation founded their own kingdoms in north and west. Epic poem Salapatikaram mentions that the emblem of the Pandyas was that of a fish. North Indian traditions such as the great epics and the Puranas often associate southern India with sage Agastya. Agastya appears prominently in medieval Tamil literature also. Folklore's attributes Ali Rani as one of the early historic rulers of the Pandyas. She is attributed as an Amazonian queen whose servants were men and administrative officials and army were women. She is thought of ruling the whole western and northern coast of Sri Lanka from her capital Kudaramalai, where remains of what is thought of as her fort are found. She is sometimes seen as an incarnation of the Pandya-associated gods, Meenakshi and Kannagi. Chandravamsa. The medieval Pandya kings were claimed to have belonged to the Chandravamsa or the lunar race. They claimed Pururavas and Nausha as ancestors. Pururavas is listed as one of the ancestors in the Velvikudi inscription of Nedunjade in Varagunavarman I. The cinnamon plates of Maravarman Rajasimha III similarly traces his lineage to the lunar race and also claims that one of his ancestors, a Pandya, occupied the seat of god Indra and another ancestor forced the 10-headed king of Lanka to sue for peace. Sources of Pandya history. Greek ambassador to Chandragupta Maurya, Megasthenes mentions queens of Pandayas as Pandya and locates them in the south of India extending into ocean. It consisted of 365 villages which met the needs of the royal palace each day of the year. He described the queen as daughter of Heracles. Madurai, capital of Pandayas, is mentioned in Kautilya's Arthashastra as Madura of the south. Archaeological sources. Pandayas are also mentioned in the inscriptions of Maurya Emperor Asoka. In his inscriptions, Asoka refers to the peoples of South India, the Cholas, Keralaputras, Pandayas, and Satyaputras. These polities, although not part of the Maurya Empire, were on friendly terms with Asoka. The conquest by Dharma has been won here, on the borders, and even 600 yojanas away, where the Greek king Antiochos rules. Beyond there where the four kings named Ptolemy, Antigonos, Magas and Alexander rule, likewise in the south among the Cholas, the Pandayas, and as far as Tamil-Brahmi river. The earliest Pandya to be found in epigraph is Nedunjalian, figuring in the Tamil-Brahmi Mangalam inscription assigned to 3rd and 2nd centuries BCE. The record documents a gift of rock-cut beds, to a Jain ascetic. It is assumed that the people found in the Mangalam inscription, Nedunjalian, Kodalan, and Izanchadikan predates rulers such as Talayanganam Nedunjalian and Palyaga Salai Mudakudimi Peruvaludi. Caravella, the Kalinga king who ruled during circa 1st century BCE, in his Hathagumfa inscription, claims to have destroyed an old confederacy of Tamil countries which had lasted 132 years, and to have acquired a large quantity of pearls from the Pandayas. Silver punch-marked coins with the fish symbol of the Pandayas dating from around the same time have also been found. Early Tamil literature. The early historic Pandayas are celebrated in the earliest available Tamil poetry. The poems refers to about 12 Pandya rulers. According to tradition, the legendary Sangams were held in Madurai under the patronage of the Pandayas. Several Tamil literary works, such as Arayanar Agaporal, mention the legend of 3 separate Sangams and ascribe their patronage to the Pandayas. Pandya rulers, such as Nedunjalian, the victor of Talai Longanam, and Mudakudimi Peruvaludi, the patron of several sacrificial halls, find mention in a number of poems. Besides several short poems found in the Akananuru and the Purananuru collections, there are 2 major works, Matharakansi and Netunalvatai, which give a glimpse into the society and commercial activities in the Pandya country during the early historic period. The Purananuru and Akananuru collections contain poems sung in praise of various Pandya rulers and also poems that were claimed to be composed by the rulers themselves. Besides the poems, King Peruvaludi is also mentioned in later copperplate grant. In the work Matharakansi, the author Mankudi Maruthanar refers to his patron, Talahalanganam Nedunjalian, as the lord of Korkai and the warlord of the southern Parathavar people. It contains a full-length description of Madurai and the Pandya country under the rule of Nedunjalian. In the famous Battle of Talai-Longanam, the Pandya is said to have defeated his enemies. He is also praised for his victory of Mizalai and Muduru, 2 Vel centers along the ocean. The Netunalvatai by Nakarar contains a description of King Nedunjalian's palace. Foreign sources. Greek and Latin sources refer to the ancient Tamil country, same as the Tamilicum, as Limerick or Damaris and its ruling families. Pandayas are also mentioned by Greek author Megasthenes, where he writes about South Indian kingdom being ruled by women. He described the Pandya country in Indica as occupying the portion of India which lies southward and extends to the sea. According to his account, the kingdom had 365 villages, each of which was expected to meet the needs of the royal household for one day in the year. He described the Pandya queen at the time, Pandya, as the daughter of Heracles. Pliny the Elder refers to the Pandya ruler of Madurai in general terms. The author of the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea describes the riches of a Pandyan kingdom. Nelsinda is distant from Muziris by river and sea about 500 stadia, and is of another kingdom, the Pandyan. This place also is situated on a river, about 120 stadia from the sea. The country of the Pandayas was described as Pandya Mediterranea and Majura Regia Pandyanis by Ptolemy. Strabo states that an Indian king called Pandyan sent Augustus Caesar presents and gifts of honor. The 1st century Greek historian Nicolaus of Damascus met, at Antioch, the ambassador sent by a king from India named Pandyan or, according to others, Porus to Caesar Augustus around 13 CE. The Roman Emperor Julian received an embassy from a Pandya about 361 CE. Chinese historian Yu Huan in his 3rd century CE text, the Wailu, mentions the Panyue kingdom. The kingdom of Panyue is also called Hanyuang. It is several thousand li to the southeast of Tiansu. The inhabitants are small. They are the same height as the Chinese. Scholar John E. Hill identified Panyue as Pandya kingdom. However, others have identified it with an ancient state located in modern Burma or Assam. The Chinese traveler Xuanzang mentions a kingdom further south from Kanchipuram, a kingdom named Malakuta, identified with Madurai described by his Buddhist friends at Kanchipuram. In the later part of the 13th century, Venetian traveler Marco Polo visited the Pandya kingdom and left a vivid description of the land and its people. The darkest man is here the most highly esteemed and better than the others who are not so dark. Let me add that in very truth these people portray and depict their gods and their idols black and their devils white as snow. For they say that God and all the saints are black and the devils are all white. That is why they portray them as I have described. Early historic Pandayas. Maurya Emperor Asoka seems to have been on friendly terms with the people of South India and Sri Lanka. There are no indications that Asoka tried to conquer the extreme South India. The 3 chiefly lines of the early historic South India, the Cheras, Pandayas and Cholas, were known as the Mu-Vendar. They traditionally based at their original headquarters in the interior Tamil Nadu. The powerful chiefdoms of the 3 Ventar dominated the political and economic life of early historic South India. The frequent conflicts between the Chera, the Chola and the Pandya are well documented in ancient Tamil poetry. The Cheras, Cholas and Pandayas also controlled the ports of Muziris, Korkai and Kaveri respectively. The gradual shift from chiefdoms to kingdoms seems to have occurred in the following period. The famous inscription of King Kharavela at Hathagumfa mentions the defeat of a confederacy of the Tramira countries which had been a threat to Kalinga. It also remembers the precious pearls brought to the capital as booty from the Pandya realm. The Pandya chiefdom was famous for its pearl fisheries and silk industry. Korkai and Alagankulam are believed to have been the exchange centers of the Pandayas. Korkai, a port at the mouth of the river Tambraparni, was linked to the famous pearl fisheries, and Alagankulam was also developed as a port. A number of coins attributed to early historic Pandayas are found from the region. Inscriptions, datable to circa 2nd century BCE, recording royal grants, both from royals and wealthy commoners, were also discovered from the Pandya country. The Pandya seems to be the most prominent of the 3 Ventar rulers. There are even references to a Pandya queen from 3rd century BCE representing a confederacy of the Tamil countries. Madurai, in South Tamil Nadu, was the most important cultural center in South India as the core of the Tamil speakers. Megalithic relics such as menhirs, dolmens, urn burials, stone circles and rock-cut chambers/passages can be found in South India. Burial goods include iron objects, ivory ornaments, black and red ware and even some Roman imperial coins. The so-called Velir Hill chieftains are assumed to be associated with these megalithic burials. Greek and Latin accounts, coins with legends in Tamil-Brahmi script, and Tamil-Brahmi inscriptions suggest the continuity of the Pandya dynasty from the 3rd century BCE to early centuries CE. The early Pandayas, along with the Cheras and the Cholas, were eventually displaced by the Kalabhra dynasty. Medieval Pandayas. Pandya revival. The Pandya kingdom was revived by King Kedungan towards the end of the 6th century CE. In the Velvikudi inscription, a later copperplate, Kedungan appears as the destroyer of the anti-Brahmanical Kalabhra kings. With the decline of the Kalabhra dynasty, the Pandayas grew steadily in power and territory. With the Cholas in obscurity in Uraiyur, the Tamil country was divided between the Pallavas of Kanchi and the Pandayas of Madurai. From 6th century to 9th century CE, the Chalukyas of Badami, the Pallavas of Kanchi, and Pandayas of Madurai dominated the politics of South India. The Badami Chalukyas were eventually replaced by the Rashtrakutas in the Deccan. The Pandayas took on the growing Pallava ambitions in South India, and from time to time they also joined in alliances with the kingdoms of the Deccan Plateau. In the middle of the 9th century, the Pandayas had managed to advance as far as Kumbakonam. Sendan, the third king of the Pandayas of Madurai, is known for expanding his kingdom to the Chera country. Ariksari Maravarman, the fourth Pandya ruler, is known for his battles against the Pallavas of Kanchi. Pallava king Narasimhavarman I, the famous conqueror of Badami, claimed to have defeated the Pandayas. Chalukya king Paramasvaravarman I Vikramaditya is known to have fought battles with the Pallavas, the Ganges, and probably with the Pandayas too, on the Kaveri basin. Kirtavarman II, the last Chalukya king, managed to lose to his southern countries as a result of his battles with the Pandayas. Pandya kings Maravarman Rajasimha I and Nadunjadayan/Varigunavarman I threatened Pallava king Nandavarman II Palavamala, who had managed to defeat the Ganges in around 760 CE. Varigunavarman I invaded the Pallava country, conquered the Kongu country and Venadu. King Srimara Srivalabha sailed to Sri Lanka, subjugated King Sena I, and sacked his capital Anuradhapura. However, Srimara Srivalabha was soon overpowered by Pallava king Nripatunga. Sena II, the king of Sri Lanka, invaded the Pandya country, sacked Madurai and chose Varigunavarman II as the new king soon after. It is proposed that the start of the Kolam era, the Kerala calendar, in 825 CE marked the liberation of Venadu from Pandya control. During the rule of Dandavarman, the Pallava territory was reduced by the encroachment from the Pandayas from the south. Pallava king Nandavarman III was able to defeat the Pandayas and Telugu Cholas with the help of the Ganges and the emerging Cholas. Under Chola influence. While the Pandayas and the Rashtrakutas were busy engaging the Pallavas, with the Ganges and the Simhalas also in the mix, the Cholas emerged from the Kaveri Delta and took on the chieftains of Tanjavur. The Chola king Vijayalaya conquered Tanjavur by defeating the Mughalrayar chieftain around circa 850 CE. The Pandya control north of the Kaveri River was severely weakened by this move. Pandya ruler Varigunavarman II responded by marching into the Chola country and facing a formidable alliance of Pallava prince Aparajita, the Chola king Aditya I and the Ganga king Prithvipati I. The Pandya king suffered a crushing defeat in a battle fought near Kumbakonam. Circa 897 CE, Chola king Aditya I was the master of the old Pallava, Ganga and Kongu countries. It is a possibility that Aditya I conquered the Kongu country from the Pandya king Parantaka Varanarayana. Parantaka I, successor to Aditya, invaded the Pandya territories in 910 CE and captured Madurai from King Maravarman Rajasimha II. Rajasimha II received help from the Sri Lankan king Kasapa V, still got defeated by Parantaka I in the Battle of Vellore, and fled to Sri Lanka. Rajasimha then found refuge in the Chera country, leaving even his royal insignia in Sri Lanka, the home of his mother. The Cholas were defeated by a Rashtrakuta-led confederacy in the Battle of Takkolam in 949 CE. By mid-950s, the Chola kingdom had shrunk to the size of a small principality. It is a possibility that Pandya ruler Veera Pandya defeated Chola king Gandharaditya and claimed independence. Chola ruler Sundara Parantaka II responded by defeating Veera Pandya in 2 battles. The Pandayas were assisted by Sri Lanka forces of King Mahinda IV. Chola Emperor Rajaraja I is known to have attacked the Pandayas. He fought against an alliance of the Pandya, Chera and Sri Lankan kings, and defeated the Cheras and deprived the Pandayas of their ancient capital Madurai. Emperor Rajendra I continued to occupy the Pandya kingdom, and even appointed a series of Chola viceroys with the title Chola Pandya to rule from Madurai. The very beginning of Chola Emperor Kulatunga's rule was marked by the loss of Sri Lanka and a rebellion in the Pandya country. The second half of the 12th century witnessed a major internal crisis in the Pandya country. The neighboring kingdoms of Sri Lanka, under Parakramabahu I, Venadu Chera/Kerala, under the Kulaskaras, and the Cholas, under Rajataraja II and Kulatunga III, joined in and took sides with any of the 2 princes or their kins. Pandya Empire. The Pandya Empire included extensive territories, at times including large portions of South India and Sri Lanka. The rule of the empire was shared among several royals, one of them enjoying primacy over the rest. The Pandya king at Madurai thus controlled these vast regions through the collateral family branches subject to Madurai. Maravarman Sundara I. The foundation for the Pandya supremacy in South India was laid by Maravarman Sundara I early in the 13th century. He succeeded his older brother Jadavarman Kulaskara in 1216. He invaded the Chola country, sacked Uriar and Tanjavur, and drove the Chola king Kulothunga III into exile. The Chola king subsequently made a formal submission to Maravarman Sundara I and acknowledged his overlordship. Attempts by the next Chola king Rajaraja III for self-rule, with the help of the Hoysala's king Narasimha II, resulted in a battle between the Pandya and Hoysala forces at Mahendramangalam on the Kaveri Valley. Maravarman Sundara I was defeated and Rajaraja III was restored in the Chola country. Sometime later Chola prince Rajendra III attacked the Pandayas and defeated two Pandya royals including Maravarman Sundara II. Hoysala king Samsvara then came to the aid of the Pandayas, defeated Rajendra III and then made peace with the Cholas. Jadavarman Sundara I. Jadavarman Sundara I ascended the Pandya throne in 1251 CE. He led his army to the Chola country, to Sri Lanka and to South Kerala. He was also successful in confining the Hoysala control to the Mysore plateau. Kunchi functioned as the second major city in the kingdom. In his conquests, Jadavarman Sundara I was assisted by a number of Pandya royals such as Jadavarman Veera Pandya. Jadavarman Sundara I subdued Rajendra II around 1258 to 1260 CE and made him pay tribute. The rule of the Cholas ended circa 1279 with Rajendra III. The Pandya attacked the Hoysalas in the Kaveri and captured the fort of Kannarkappam. Hoysala king Samsvara was forced to fall back into the Mysore plateau. The Hoysala king, pressed by enemies from north and south, assigned the southern half of his kingdom to his younger son Ramanatha. Samsvara was eventually killed by the Pandya in 1262 CE. Ramanatha managed to recover Kannur and hold against the Pandya power. Jadavarman Sundara I also came into conflict with the Kadava ruler Kopperunjinga II. It seems that Bana and Kongu countries came under the Pandya rule during the wars against the Hoysalas and the Kadavas. Jadavarman Sundara I also fought the Kakatiya ruler Ganapati. Sri Lanka was invaded by Jadavarman Sundara I in 1258 and on his behalf by his younger brother Jadavarman Veera II between 1262 and 1264 CE. The island was again invaded and defeated by Jadavarman Veera II in 1270 CE. Maravarman Kulasakara I. Sundara Pandya I was succeeded by Maravarman Kulasakara I around 1279. The combined force of Hoysala king Ramanatha and Rajendra III was defeated by Maravarman Kulasakara I. Maravarman Kulasakara I, now virtually unchallenged, ruled over the Chola country and southern Tamil-speaking portions of Hoysala kingdom. He also invaded Sri Lanka, ruled by Bhuvanayakabahu I, carried away to the Pandya country the venerable tooth relic, and the wealth of the island. Sri Lanka remained under Pandya control till circa 1308 to 09 CE, decline of Pandayas. After the death of Maravarman Kulaskara I, his sons Veera Pandya IV and Sundara Pandya IV fought a war of succession for control of the empire. It seems that Maravarman Kulaskara wanted Veera Pandya to succeed him. Unfortunately, the Pandya civil war coincided with the Khalji raids in South India. Taking advantage of the political situation, the neighboring Hoysala king Balala III invaded the Pandya territory. However, Balala had to retreat to his capital, when Khalji general Malik Kafur invaded his kingdom at the same time. After subjugating Balala III, the Khalji forces marched to the Pandya territory in March 1311. The Pandya brothers fled their headquarters, and the Khaljis pursued them unsuccessfully. By late April 1311, the Khaljis gave up their plans to pursue the Pandya princes, and returned to Delhi with the plunder. By 1312 the Pandya control over South Kerala was also lost. After the departure of the Khaljis, Veera and Sundara Pandya resumed their conflict. Sundara Pandya was defeated, and sought help from the Khaljis. With their help, he regained control of the South Arcot region by 1314. Subsequently, There were two more expeditions from the Sultanate in 1314 led by Khusro Khan and in 1323 by Ulugh Khan under Sultan Ghiyath al-Din Tufluk. The family quarrels and the Sultanate invasion shattered the Pandya Empire beyond revival, and coinage discoveries made imply that the Pandyas were left with the old South Arcot region. In 1323, the Jaffna kingdom declared its independence from the crumbling Pandya influence. Legacy. While the previous Sultanate raids were content with plunder, the Tufluks under Ulugh Khan annexed the former Pandya dominions to the Sultanate as the province of Malabar. Most of South India came under the Sultanate rule and was divided into 5 provinces: Devagiri, Tiling, Kampili, Dora Samudra and Malabar. Jalaluddin Hasan Khan was appointed governor of the newly created southernmost Malabar province. In circa 1334, Jalaluddin Hasan Khan declared his independence and created Madurai Sultanate. The Pandyas shifted their capital to Tenkasi and continued to rule a small area until the end of the 16th century. Bukar Raya I of Vijayanagara Empire conquered the city of Madurai in circa 1370, imprisoned the Sultan, released and restored Arcot's Prince Sambhava Raya to the throne. Bukar Raya I appointed his son Veera Kumara Kampana as the viceroy of the Tamil region. Meanwhile, Madurai Sultanate was replaced by the Nayak governors of Vijayanagara in 1378. In 1529 the Nayak governors declared independence and established Madurai Nayak dynasty.